dual or twin paradigm system from the last set of recordings, from the last page actually. So let's also take a look at frequencies as it applies to paradigms, also as it applies to the four components of the human experience. Because these frequencies have everything to do with how paradigms are set up and how paradigms work. And of course, paradigms and setting up paradigms and setting up how they work has everything to do with the four components of the human experience, especially the soul component and especially the consciousness component. All across the world now we have all sorts of wonderful examples of how bad paradigms are run and how bad paradigms are being set up. And they're not bad for the rulers. They're great for the rulers. They're bad for we the people, because they're not set up to enhance our lives. They're set up to take away from our lives. They're set up to stifle our creativity. They're set up to put us in a mode of kind of like survival. And speaking of that, let me tell you this interesting study from Yale University. That's one of the universities that did this study. But this study speaks to the paradigms that we're going to look at, which there are examples of everywhere across the planet today. So Yale did this big study, and you can Google this and see it for yourselves. And they studied consciousness, and not only did they study consciousness, but they studied brain function. And what they found was that the more stressors they put onto people, and especially stressors that threw people into survival mode, like, real poverty or the ability to survive, and they tied this to money and income, of course, and it's very true. But the more stressors they put onto people, they found that it diminished their capacity to use their brain function at 100%. In their study, they found that at 20% of their brain function was diminished by these stressors. Now this is huge. I mean, it's really, really big. It's a vast amount. It's like you're functioning at, it's like 20 cents of every dollar is taken from you. But it's taken from your brain. Now, considering that the brain works in something that's not really linear fashion, but something that's more cyclical fashion, and it sort of builds on itself, well, you take out 20% of that and you got a real problem. Okay? And also, let me say another point here. Because we're talking about paradigms, the other point is this. Creativity, and this is sort of common knowledge, creativity comes from high functioning brains. That's how creativity comes about. The people that are just in the mode of, oh my God, am I going to get through the day? Am I going to get through the week? Am I going to get through this month? Am I going to survive this year? Am I going to get to eat today? Is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? Holy crummy, I'm about to lose my car. I'm about to lose my apartment. I'm about to lose this. I'm about to lose that. Those people are not going to be dealing in creativity because they're under these stressors, and it's really jacking up the process. And there is the Yale study. You should look that up. I wish you would really look that up and read it. It's very poignant to what I'm saying right now. Very poignant, because this has been going on for a long time, but especially in the last several years, this has been going on on Earth, across this whole Earth, not just in America, across the whole Earth. We the people is not just America. We the people is we the people across the whole Earth. Now let's tie this back into frequency so that we can get a good picture here. Now, of course, we're going to go back to the four components of the human experience: body, mind, spirit, and soul, or physiology. That's all of it. As a matter of fact, let's take that one step further and say material world. Anything that's material. Anything. Could be a planet, could be a different solar system, could be a different galaxy. If it's made out of stuff, it's material world. Mind, consciousness, consciousness. All the consciousness, all of it, everything. That's not just your thinking, it's also part of your instinct. It's consciousness. Everything that any kind of awareness there is, that's consciousness, okay? To take that further, it's universal consciousness out in the galaxies, out in the cosmos. Now that kind of gets into esoteric religion, spirituality stuff, but nonetheless, hey, this is what it is, okay? That's if we take it past the human experience or planetary consciousness, whatever. And then, of course, we have spirit, which is also energy, like the lightning bolts that come out of the sky. That is spirit component stuff. It's energy stuff. And if you take that out into the big picture universe, you have energy. Nothing, and when I say nothing, I mean literally no thing is going to get by without some kind of energy somehow, some way, as some form. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't exist that way. Not in the material world. And then, of course, soul, which is the connectivity. It's like the connection to the rest of the universe. Your soul, you're tied to creation. As a matter of fact, you're tied into what is behind creation, which is actually creator. You just don't know it, but it's happening. So, when we look at frequencies, especially when we look at frequencies as they are being applied into these different paradigms, or through these different paradigms, a better way to say that, we need to look at these four components, because the four components are actually us. I mean, that's really kind of who and what we are as core beings. Our core, that is us at our core. So it's very relevant to this. Now the frequencies. Okay, now let's take a look at these jacked up paradigms across the planet that are everywhere. Let's go to some war-torn place. Like, now let's go in the past so I don't get in trouble. Let's go to Herzegovina, Bosnia, or someplace like that. This is Clinton time. And now it's a war-torn city. It's like, people getting shot up and killed, and their places are getting destroyed, and they're like in massive survival mode. It's like, oh my God, are we going to survive? You're talking women, children. You're talking like right inside the cities. The water's messed up, the electricity's messed up. Everything's messed up. Same thing's going on in the Middle East, or it was to a massive extent when we did the whole Iraq thing, okay? And we're looking at the human beings, and we're looking at what's going on, because these are four component beings, regardless of their ideology. Well, their ideology is another story. We're definitely going to look at that one too, but not in this set of recordings. We're just sticking with the facts, ma'am, just the facts. The consciousness behind that paradigm that was set up in that place, in those places rather, and the frequency of that paradigm that was being set up. And believe me when I tell you, when an invading force comes in and starts shooting up your city and destroys your water, power, electricity, and all that stuff, believe me when I tell you, it is a real live paradigm shift. A real one. And who knows how long it's going to go on. But that is a real live paradigm shift. But what actually happens? What's really going on in these paradigm shifts? And for what? I mean, really, for God's sake, honestly ask yourself, for what? For what? I mean, really, for what? Pause and think about it. Stop this recording for a moment and literally think about what is all of this insanity for. Okay? Because it really is not, it's not in the best interest of we the people, but yet it keeps happening over and over and over and over and over. Oh my God, man. I mean, I gotta stop. Okay, I had to take a brief pause. Now, also, maybe we don't want to go to that extreme. Let's go to any one of our inner cities. Let's go to look at Detroit or something. I mean, this is not exactly the paramount place of like, yes, there's jobs available and there's opportunities everywhere and blah, 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 blah. No. These people, this is not how it is. Not almost every city now in America, thanks to what's happened and these bankers and all the rest of it. I mean, this is how it is now. The paradigm has literally shifted, but what actually happens when the paradigm shifts? What's going on with the frequency when the paradigm shifts? And what's going on with the frequency when and if the paradigm shifts back to something that's really cool? What actually happens? And let's come up with a prime example, and we'll pull it right out of America's history. And I'm going to just throw this in there before I continue. But when I was a little boy, now I grew up in San Diego, but when I was a little boy, that's San Diego, California, Southern California. Anyway, when I was a little boy, the paradigm was very much a church-going Christian sort of paradigm. And there were jobs available. All you had to do was want one and go get one, and it didn't take much to get one because they were everywhere. And it was a time when, mom stayed home and watched the family because the paradigm was set up this way until the rulers decided to change it. Because why not? We could make double the taxes and we could exploit this deal and throw people into a worse place. Why not? They're just slaves anyway. Who cares? And that was America. But when I was a little boy, it was a very much a Christian paradigm. And when I'm talking to religious people, I say that is a Christ energy paradigm, but I don't want to get into that because, too many people stop listening to this and stop learning because, oh my God, I brought up Christ. Oh, run for your lives, you brought up Christ. Oh, run for your lives, too scary. But that was a paradigm. And the frequency of that kind of paradigm is very high frequency stuff. Lots and lots of creativity comes out of that. Take that same thing and take it to a low paradigm. Herzegovina, Bosnia, during wartime, they're blowing up the whole city. For no reason except for, what? I don't know. I mean, really, seriously, couldn't have went about it a different way? Come on. Usually it's for people's profits. I mean, that's the real sad, sick truth of most of this. It's for people's profits, and it's for the controller so they can control more stuff and more people, and I want more, yeah, more. I need more control, I need more slaves, shut up, people. I mean, it's like this, it's ridiculous. It's literally, when you look at, when you begin to see your home, in other words, planet Earth, when you begin to see it really differently, and hopefully you're going to start looking at it a little differently after you listen to all of these things I have up here that I'm doing for you. I'm doing it for all of us. I'm doing it for a better planet. I'm hoping a better planet comes out of this somehow, some way. I really believe it can, because, I mean, thoughts are powerful things. But when you really start to see your home, this planet Earth, in a different way, you're going to see how ridiculous this stuff is. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. The things that go on the surface of this planet, and the things that go on in the name of somebody's giant profits and somebody's greed and somebody's control and somebody's, those are my resources, blah, I'm blah, 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 whatever, whoever I am, and I'm everything, it's all mine, ha, 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 ha. I mean, when you're going to see, this is nonsense. It's ridiculous. It literally is ridiculous. Like it should be ridiculed from the highest mountains 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's nonsense. It should be stopped by all means necessary, literally brought to a halt, no matter what has to happen to make that happen. Because this stuff is killing us. Killing us. You know? Killing us. I'm here to kill, steal, and destroy. Come on, people. Come on. Okay, I'm going to snap out of it, I promise.